What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into the second intro. The second one, the first one, no one will ever see, Dave, by the way.
I was going to spoil it on mine. If you didn't say it, I was going to be like, and this is our second intro of the day.
Oh, so for those of you guys who don't know, first off, welcome into MVP Sports Live. Beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And so this is the second intro because I was so hyped, ready to go. I'm fucking like, okay, got the tweet out there, got the Discord notification out there. Let's go ahead and start this countdown. Let's go. We get through the entire countdown. I start the show, and it's like, okay, Dave is still talking about World of Warcraft. That's fine. And then I look over, and I go, why can't I see Twitch chat? And then I look down, and I went, that button's not supposed to be green. It's supposed to be red. Never went live, so no one will ever see it. I came out with fucking energy.
I'm still talking. Then when you start doing the intro, I look at my screen. I'm like, we're not even freaking live. Like, we didn't even hit pre-show.
We're not even fucking there. But yes, is that going to be a good thing to come? Bad things to come? I don't know. Maybe we're loosey-goosey today. Maybe that's it.
I feel loose. I think today's a good day. Shout out to Pipeworks Brewing.
Nice.
I believe this is Ninjas versus Unicorns. Great names. Lots of good art on the cans.
Who would win that fight, ninjas or unicorns?
I would have to say ninjas, right? Because like
unicorns might have magic. Yeah, but they might have magic, Dave. They might be magical unicorns.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen My Little Ponies? Those things can do more without thumbs than I can do with thumbs.
Ninjas. I'm taking ninjas. You take unicorns. Ninjas
don't make sounds either. You don't know where.
We're starting the show off straight up Stephen A. Skip style like the old days, Ricky.
Ninjas or unicorns? Let us know. Maybe I'll play that on Twitch. Who knows? But today we're talking all NBA draft, Dave. All NBA draft, mostly college stuff with the prospects because it's the saddest time of the year. March Madness is over. It's over.
It's a day of celebration, Ricky.
It's a day of celebration for Baylor, but it's a day of sadness because immediately when I saw One Shining Moment, I'm like, all right, let's get all the teams going again. Let's just do it again. Consolation time. Let's just do it again so I get all these matches again. Reseed the entire field. Let's do it again. Baylor gets the actual championship. We do it again for fun.
I saw someone saying they should delay the NIT to go after March Madness to try to like.
People actually care about the NIT though?
No.
Okay, that's the problem.
But I think that was their point is maybe they think that they can be like the Pro Bowl if they put it after the Super Bowl. People will be so desperate for basketball that they'll want to watch it.
Some of those games, though, in the NIT were better than the NCAA.
I gave a wet boy, I think, to the NIT.
Yeah, you did. It was to your boy Boogie Ellis on Memphis.
Yes.
Penny Hardaway.
That Memphis team was just full of disappointment.
Full of disappointment until the NIT. Then they turned it up.
No, I mean like the last 2 years. I thought that Memphis was going to be stacked, and I thought that our boy Penny was going to fucking lead them to glory. And instead, mediocrity.
Hey man. Illinois was in the NIT a couple years ago. Now look at where they are. Just takes one recruit. But before we get into everything, let's get the housekeeping done, lickety split. Number one, Discord. Plain and simple. If you're not in the MVP Discord, you're missing out on the greatest community in the universe. However, you can join it for free. Link down below on YouTube. !Discord into Twitch chat. Get you that link. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is your place to go. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch and get rewarded for subbing. Really, by the way, Dave, the subscription on Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, is the best deal for MVP because you're not even paying for it. You get the bronze subscription just for subbing, and you can say thanks Amazon for that. You don't even spend a single dollar of it. Amazon pays that for you. And then last but not least, we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We're on YouTube, MVP Sports. Schedule for this week, Dave and I are here for college. And then subject to change, it's already changed because Jake, we were going to either fit him in, have me and Jake, have me and Dave. But rest of the week, NBA with Daves and Soaps 2 times this week. Wednesday, Friday, Dave, and maybe some baseball on Thursday. Soapy's like,
it's going to get better.
He's like, great, you wanted more awkwardness out of me.
It's going to get better. That man will learn to have a cadence, or I will learn his awkward-ass 5-second pause cadence.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it with the 5-second pause. Dave's like, do I talk now?
All the time. You can't start a sentence.
I think it's because...
And then just keep talking 5 seconds later.
Here's what I think it is. I don't interrupt. So like when he goes and he stops, like when he stops, I wait. I will wait and I'll be like, All right, I'm gonna see if he keeps going, and then he'll keep going. I'll be like, okay, I didn't have to step in. But Dave, first thing we're talking about today, the only non-draft thing is we had a game last night, and I'm gonna just kick it off to you. Do your victory lap, Dave. Do your victory lap. You know you want to.
So about a month ago, Ricky and I were talking about the tournament. We're like, hey, we got the tournament's coming up. Is it over already? Is it just Gonzaga or the field? And I'm like, well, is Baylor and Tennessee part of the field? Because if Baylor and Tennessee are part of the field, I'm taking the field. Because defense wins championships. And guess what, boys? The best defensive team and the best three-point shooting team just won the championship. Like, it was hilarious how bad the reality check was for Gonzaga. That game started, and within, 4 minutes, people were like, the fuck is going on here? I heard so many people talking about Gonzaga being the lock of the century. Like, there is no way this team's undefeated, da-da-da-da-da. And I don't know if they've ever watched Baylor play basketball, I guess. Yeah. Baylor locked up Gonzaga, and I mean, just smothering defense. It was so satisfying to watch. And the early foul trouble and that game was satisfying to watch as a fan of Baylor and defense. I'm not even a Baylor fan. I just love the defense. I love the players. I love the way that org has played out this season. It's so good. So good. So again, shout out to Baylor. Congrats on the national championship. Congrats on having 2 first-round talents on your roster. And honestly, like, this was just, it felt good. It felt good.
Let's be honest, though, and this is me. I am going, like, if this can was not Dr. Pepper, Dave, and it was just straight up Gonzaga haterade, I would be chugging the whole goddamn can. Because ever since the tournament started, I have not had a hate boner for any team in this tournament more than Gonzaga.
Really?
I did not want them to win the title. Like, I hated when people came in, and I know we had people in our Twitch chat when we talked, when Brandon and I called some games for the tournament, talking about Gonzaga, especially during that blowout USC-Kansas game.
Very close game.
Second half is just like, oh, let's just do a podcast. There's a game on, by the way. This Gonzaga team, like, I did not want them to win. When people were like, they're going to go undefeated, I was like, yeah, but they haven't played anybody. Like, even in the tournament, and yet again, Gonzaga fans are going to be like, you're spitting salt into our wounds. But, like, you look at their schedule, Norfolk State, it's a 16-1. Yeah, it happened once, but most times the one's going to win. Then Oklahoma, which, yeah, Oklahoma's played well, but they're streaky. Like, that's it. They're streaky. Creighton was a fraud and shouldn't even have made it as far as they did. They should have lost to Georgetown in round 1. Georgetown shit the bed.
They were fun.
I liked them, but they should have lost to Georgetown. Georgetown lost that game. Creighton didn't win it. Probably the only good game of the tournament Gonzaga played, in my mind, where like they earned a win, was USC, because I thought USC was playing the hottest basketball. But then on top,
Rose were playing really well.
But then on top of it, they should have lost to UCLA, Dave. They got bailed out by the luckiest shot. I know Mark Few after the game's like, Jalen Suggs, we practice that play all the time. You could practice as much as you want. It going in is like this much of a percent, Dave, of it actually going in. And yeah, it happened. Greatest tournament game. It's going to be replayed for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But, like, they should have lost to UCLA. What did you think was going to happen against Baylor, who Baylor's the exact opposite? They've had close games this tournament tour. I didn't even think they were going to beat Villanova for a second. I was like, oh, no, Villanova is going to beat them. And then they have the easiest game of their tournament right when they need it most.
I don't know if it was the easiest game of the tournament. It just matched up stylistically really well for them.
The game that wasn't the closest.
Yeah, what they've been doing all year. The other thing I want to just attack real quick is the people who are coming out and putting a little revisionist history on the, like, well, Gonzaga, because they were an undefeated team, that kind of jinxed them going into the championship. They never faced adversity this year. Bullshit. Fucking shit.
They did face adversity, because did you see that BYU game in the final of the WCC where BYU should have won, but they lost the game also? They couldn't shoot the basketball in the final 5 minutes.
I agree. I think people who want to say undefeated teams are at a disadvantage because they haven't lost the game are phonies. That's all it is. It's a talking point for the ESPNs. It's a talking point for the big heads who don't actually watch the game. Don't be those people. That's what I'm going to say.
Don't watch
Be the
the
fans who watch the games, who love the teams, who love the players, and then you enjoy the success and failures with them. But like, don't come out and be like, well, they lost the game because they never really struggled all season and they just got too comfy. Like, that sounds like some ass backwards logic to be like, well, had they been, all the way locked in, had Gonzaga lost a game earlier this season, Gonzaga probably would beat Baylor. No, that wouldn't have changed dick.
I mean,
in fact, if Baylor didn't get stuck with the COVID situation, they might have never lost a game the whole fucking season.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say, too, Gonzaga actually had a COVID situation as well.
Well, not as bad.
Not as bad, but they played the Jimmy V Classic. Then they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games canceled before restarting.
One of those was Baylor.
Yeah, one of those was Baylor.
Which means Baylor would have picked the shit out of you early in the season, put you in your place, we would have had a rematch for the fucking championship, which would have been crazy good.
Yeah, and I mean, I just look at it and I go, like, adversity. In the Jimmy V Classic, it was an 87-82 game against West Virginia. Like, that's not adversity? Like, a close game? Yet again, like, going back and, like, someone's going to be out there and be like, well, Ricky, actually, if you watch the game, it's like, dude, it's from fucking December.
The way it ended up was, like, they did give up some late shots. The game wasn't as close as you thought it would be by the box score. But no, I mean, like, all in all, this game played out really well. We watched Baylor's defense trump the offensive off-ball movement from Gonzaga. They made difficult shots. Multiple guys struggled to deal with that pestering defense. Open lanes don't exist against Baylor. Baylor has active hands, off-ball defense, and their team's head is on a swivel at all times.
Yeah.
They're tracking the ball while tracking the guy they're guarding. They're able to switch from man to zone defense. They did it a couple times. It was highly effective. I really enjoyed watching that game because it was like a masterclass on how to shut down some of these people. And like for people who, and I know we got this coming up, so I might as well start transition this. For people who thought Corey Kispert was the top 10 talent in this draft because his incredible shooting. Corey's had a hot and cold tournament, but he struggled dearly in this game. Yeah. And this was, I don't want to say like hashtag exposed or anything like that, but like, let's be honest, the Allen Athletic white kid out there could not get an open shot to save his fucking life. Like, Andy got pick and rolled on, and they abused him. And they did the same thing to Timmy. And it looked really bad. Like, there's one prospect on this team in Suggs who played like he is expected to play. Like, that is the saving grace for him, is Jalen played so well this game. Even, like, turnovers be damned, don't even care. Like, this is just, he went against elite defense, perhaps the best on-ball defenders in the fucking nation in college. So credit to him for what he was able to do. I think he has done an excellent job in the tournament. I still think he is the fourth best prospect in the nation. I don't have him over any of the top three, but he's so good.
You say
so
four.
Good.
You say four because I'm gonna just guess you are on the Jake train that out of the four other than him, Kuminga is lower than Suggs.
Correct.
In your mind.
I think Suggs is great. Even though Kuminga is like a year and a couple months younger, like it's still, I like the floor of Suggs. I think he can step in and have that Malcolm Brogdon like effect on a team. Not like rookie Malcolm Brogdon, like now kind of Malcolm Brogdon. A little less on the shooting end, but like he has got, vibes of Malcolm, vibes of Drew Holiday. He gives you that, like, I don't have to be the ball handler. I don't have to do this, but I can. I've got it in my toolkit whenever it's necessary, and he's always an active defender.
Last thing I wanted to mention before we go into Gonzaga, because we'll hit them first, is two things. First point you made about the, an undefeated team, it's unfair because they face more pressure.
Yes.
I agree with you. However, I am one of those people, like when Illinois lost, I think it was to... Like, they lost to, like, Ohio State at the end of the year.
Yeah, you guys lost early in the season.
And, well, not early in the season. I'm saying late, like, right before the Big Ten championship.
Okay.
I was one of the guys that's saying, not happy we lost, but, hey, I'd rather have this loss now than in the tournament. If we're going to pick when we lose before the tournament rather than lose that first game in the tournament. Also, Dave, I was going to put you on the spot. Who do you think wins next year's tournament? Because those odds are already out, by the way. You can bet on next year's tournament winner already.
West Virginia.
West Virginia, their odds are plus 2,600. The highest odds are Gonzaga and Michigan at plus 900. Followed by Baylor and Villanova at plus 1,200.
Michigan is bringing in potentially the number 1 recruit in the nation.
Yeah.
If he decides to go to college, we don't know that for sure. There's still the opportunity to check over to the G League, get some cash early. But and you said Gonzaga probably because are they getting anyone, or is it because a certain someone might be rolling back, a certain big man with a sweet stash,
Drew Timmy, baby,
with that Fu Manchu rolling.
I don't know, could be. Gonzaga is just one of those teams where I feel like they're always in there because they'll lead their conference, and then they'll always have guys like. Think about the last time they were in the national championship, like a certain someone called Rui more on that team that I love so much. But going into the Gonzaga guys, Dave, as you already hit, my mind with this is I don't think any Suggs or Kispert really helped their stock in my mind. Like, it wasn't anything to where it's like, I think anything special out of Suggs to where I'm not like Tankathon, where Tankathon has him as the number 1 prospect on the big board, but still has Cade Cunningham, number 1 in mock drafts. Confused.
That's fair. That. My big board, has different guys. I don't have big board and draft.
Slapping the wall. Cade Cunningham's not number 1 ipso facto on both. Has it changed?
JG4. Cade Cunningham.
Dave's like, I love JG4.
Big board versus mock is different because I think GMs don't treat GMs, as much as we always say you take the best player available, GMs mind fuck themselves into thinking fit and BPA align perfectly for them at that segment. So I don't have, that same situation. I think that Tankathon, the guy running that, probably is the same.
With Cade and Suggs, though, I feel like, yet again, point guard, maybe combo guard, but really we're looking at them both as point guards. That's a debate where if it's JG4 or Suggs, I'm like, I understand. One's a 2, one's more of could be a 1 or a 2. That's, where it's like,
Suggs can play on ball, he can play off ball. He has that versatility to his game. He can run point. He can be a secondary contributor. I think his diversity of game is one of the reasons why he's so highly regarded. He doesn't have to be ball in hands. He's not useless off ball, a la someone like RJ Barrett, who RJ Barrett ball in hands, his
totally want him. He
effectively drops. Like if you watched his stock at Kentucky, him off ball not great. Him on ball, he was able to make decisions. He's able to run that offense in college. So I think stock wise, Jalen Suggs's versatility is one of the keys and why he's so highly regarded. Cade is up there because of, 6'8" ball handler, shoots all 3 levels, and can pass the ball. So, who knows?
And that the one thing I was getting at is Suggs hasn't really changed. Top 5 prospect.
Yeah. I can't see him dropping out of top 5, and the only reason I say 5 is because some team might prefer the idea of Kuminga as an athletic raw wing with his age as the benefit, because again, how much younger he is than a lot of these guys.
The only way I see him dropping out of top 5 is if obviously Cade and Evan Mobley are in the top 3 for me. It's just who's going to join them in the top 3. Will it be Suggs? Will it be JG4? Let's say it's JG4 in the top 3. And then on top of that, a GM, like you said, likes Kuminga because of he's a wing and his athleticism. And then at 5, it's like, well, Suggs is there, but what if someone falls in love with a Jalen Johnson or a Scotty Barnes because of athleticism?
Someone fall in love with a Jalen Johnson, I'd be a little confused right now. What do they know that I don't?
But you know what I mean. In case
I do.
The only way he's falling out is if someone falls in love with athleticism from somebody.
Correct. It's why did Tyrese Halliburton fall? Because Halliburton's very similar story, just with a worse looking shot.
Yeah.
They're both incredible college talents, both smart players, great floor guys, can play great defense, wise beyond their age, and yet, we're talking about these guys falling down. Obviously, there were rumors around Halliburton, supposedly doing things about telling teams not to pick him, but I've continued to ask for proof of any of that. No one has shown anything. So
Hallie also had the minor risk questions because of his injury.
Yeah.
I know it was February to the draft later in the year, but I know people always mentioned, he had that wrist injury where Suggs doesn't. Kispert, I think, is the same thing as Suggs, where Hasn't really changed. Like, he's not falling out of the lottery. I never saw him as a top 10. You think he fell out of the lottery with his performance?
I think this championship game was a tell-all.
Okay.
Are you telling me that NBA level talent on the wings are going to be worse than the Baylor Bears on defense?
I mean, yet again,
because if he can't get an open shot on his own, how much value does he have? How much value did he lose from being just completely smothered?
Mm-hmm. Where do you think his ceiling is? That's what I like. To me,
it's Joe Harris. Okay. We joked about before. We took the easy comp of they work out together. He trained under Joe Harris in the offseason. He clearly knows how to move off ball.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of hope and upside as a shooter, but defensively, I think that was perhaps an overstatement of where he was at talent-wise. I think that he has slower feet. I think that he is in a situation where defensively he can struggle against guys. So you're saying you don't think he falls out of the lottery. I think he does. I think here's the problem. Big board wise, he's no longer in my top 14.
Yeah, but mock draft.
Do I see a team falling in love with shooting and wanting to play it safe? I could. I absolutely could. Like, this is again one of those situations where GMs can talk themselves into things. We have seen 2 years in a row talents who are great in the tournament go higher than we would expect. Cam Johnson notoriously went to the Suns. It worked out. He was an older player, known for shooting, known for being able to stay in front of guys well enough. His defense has excelled in the NBA. I think beyond our expectations. He's not a shutdown defender, but he's not a traffic cone out there.
Yeah.
So that one worked out great. I think that if we see something similar where, hey, here's a guy who known for shooting, hot and cold in tournament, but I think overall he is a very good shooter. Like, you can't take that away from him. But his lack of being able to create a shot for himself really hurt him here. I think I probably on my big board probably in that 15 through 25 range now.
Okay.
Like, I think he's more of a limited player than I thought he was before watching this, because watching elite defense being played against him was a little different.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking at right now, obviously, Tankathon, that's just what I'm using as the base. They're against you. They're the top 8, but they're not the what's the word I'm looking for? End all, be all of like, oh, this is the final word. I don't think he's a top 10 prospect anymore. Like you said, I think the national championship game, it's not this means more than the entire body of work of the season, but it does raise some concerns of like in workouts, the like pro days, combine, however the process is going to work this year as we're transitioning out of COVID. GMs might take a look at some stuff that they saw in the championship game, because it might be like, I didn't see that before. I didn't see that happen to him. Because in my mind, Dave, out of all the Gonzaga prospects, there is no guy, like when we're talking about boost to draft stock, and it could just be the meme alone of the mustache, Dave. I don't know if it's the mustache or because of how he played in the tournament. I think that Drew Timme went for like the rise of going from not even on a draft board to now I'm seeing teams like Pistons blogs, Philadelphia 76ers blogs being like, hey, let's if he's in the draft, take a second round flyer out of him. And it's like, yeah, you might look at it and go, yeah, but Ricky's a second round pick. Why not, like you said, come back, be successful at Gonzaga, maybe grow your stock. But I mean, no matter what he does, I think he's the one out of the three where it's like, he is now the name people are mentioning. But yet again, is it because of his play or because of the stash?
I don't think there's a fucking chance in hell he should get taken in the second round.
Okay.
He's not going to be one of the best 60 players taken in this draft, which is a lot. I don't know why he would come out outside of, if he has hype. If someone tells him that he will be a guarantee pick in the draft, he should come out.
Yeah.
I don't know a time when he would ever get that guarantee. If he goes back to college, I don't think he can do enough to raise his stock. I think he's going back to college to try to win a championship.
Yeah.
Like, that would be my thought, is like, hey, you're the big dog on campus. You're very good at what you do in college, and it's effective. But come the NBA, I don't see you having an incredibly successful career. I think that he would be best off if he gets a promise from a team, take it. If he doesn't, go back to college. Use the opportunity that the NBA is giving you to come out, declare for the draft. Don't sign an agent. talk to teams, interview with teams, do your workouts, and then see where you are at. Because I don't see it. I think that he had no. He does not have the talent required to play NBA minutes realistic.
The one thing I found interesting, and this is from a Pistons blog that I read, was, and I'll see if you agree, the headline and what the article is basically about is that Drew Timme could be a Mason Plumlee clone in the NBA. Are we overhyping him, Dave? Are we overhyping Drew clone? A Mason Plumlee clone. Go ahead and talk about how they're similar players. Let's see. He has shown that even though he doesn't have great athleticism and foot speed, he can make up for it with passing, shooting, and overall basketball IQ. Drew Timme is already a better shooter than Plumlee, but will likely be a similar player if he makes an NBA roster. He is a skilled big man with questionable foot speed who can shoot from the mid-range, rebound, pass, and isn't a great defender. Sound familiar? Question mark?
If you're looking for Mason Plumlee in college, look no further than Seton Hall. Mamu out of Seton Hall. Sandro Mamu. I don't pronounce the last name. It's Mamu. Like, that's where it stops. It's 4 letters long in my mind. There's a bunch of actual letters there.
Mamu.
This kid is actually Plumlee. Like, this is someone who is he's probably close to 7 foot. If he's 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot. He's somewhere in that range. He's a big. He has great facilitation ability. Like, he can see the floor well. He passes out of the post. He is a point center in that regard. He is not Vucevic. He is not Jokic. He's basically Plumlee. He has got a good shot, workable hands. I think if you're looking for that, Timmy's the wrong guy. Timmy's got energy, man. That guy has fucking juice.
Well, like, here's the one thing I liked about him, and yet again, this isn't a call that he's going to be a second round pick. I think if anything, Dave, he's going to do the same thing that I've seen, like that Ron Harper Jr. said that he's going to do. Ron Harper Jr. is going through the draft process, but he's keeping that eligibility open. He's not hiring an agent. Hey, I'm going to go through the process. I saw that and I was like, unless Ron Harper Jr. gets a promise from a team, his ass will be back at Rutgers last year.
Probably.
Maybe the same thing. I haven't heard anything about Scottie Pippen Jr., but I would assume the same thing about Scottie P. SPJ also. But like, Timme should go that route. But the one thing I loved about Timme, and this isn't a knock at Suggs, although I was trolling in the Discord, saying like, oh man, Suggs crying after this game. Not a top 5 pick. Don't want that kind of leadership on my team, Dave. Give me Drew Timme, who's got the team around him. He's speaking up to him. He goes like, I'm putting words in his mouth. Like, hey guys, this was a great season. Don't let this game bring us down. Yeah, it's not the way it wanted to end, but this was still a great season. Hold that head high. That's something I will say I do like, because it seemed like his mind was not, hey, let's sulk in this. No, let's keep the head up. We had a great season this year, although it ended in a loss. Yet again, though, is that enough to be a second-round pick? I mean, you got to play basketball.
He's a 10th guy on the bench. He is an energy guy off the bench. That is the best you could hope for him. And those are a lot of lovable guys.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So Brian Scalabrine, that's what you're saying.
We love the fucking end of the bench guys. That's our jam.
Nazi Muhammad, is that your Timme? Is Timme a Nazi Muhammad?
I mean, less physically intimidating.
I just mean like the lower end guy that's like, for some reason we love him.
Yes, that's exactly who this is. Every team has one, and if you don't, you have someone on another team who you love like the same way. So like, that's who he is. I don't think he's NBA like top talent. I don't think he's worth a second round pick. I think he's someone who should go back to college unless he gets a promise. I mean, look, Kispert's a top 25 player, even with his issues.
Suggs is top 5.
This is a stacked Gonzaga team. Is there anyone else on that team who you're like, maybe there's a chance when they come back?
I mean, not that they'd come back, but the only
not
one we have.
Not like next year. Like, is there anybody on this team to look out for? Like, maybe not this year's draft, but like maybe underclassmen or anything?
No, not for me. The only other guy was Joel Ayayi, but he's coming. I feel like he's going to come out.
Guy.
Like, yet again. So okay, you say second round. If he's a second round guy, should he do the IO thing? Because I think he's. Let me double check. He's a junior, so he still has one. Well, fuck it. Even if he's a senior, they all have the extra eligibility year, which I'll be completely honest. If you're a senior in the second round, don't hire an agent. This year, don't hire it. Like, if you're not going to get drafted, come back. If your school's like, no, we filled your spot, there is somebody that will be like, oh, dude, we want to transfer to us. Because you're getting that extra year. I've always had Jake and I have had the debate of like, oh, well, someone after 4 years might be like, no, I don't want to play. I look at it from all the guys that, again, it was NAIA, not D1.
No, I think this
like,
is their passion, man. They're fucking.
Yeah, it's like
every chance they get.
How many of the guys I used to know in college that played basketball that they all say the same thing? Man, if I could lace them up one more time, I would love to have one more season. If you're gonna get that, fucking take it. But like, if a guy is end of the first, if you're guaranteed a first, come out. I think if he's a second, come back, run it back with Timmy.
I think he's a second. I think that's. I don't see him getting a promise for the first. I think there's just a lot of guys. But again, there are guys in this draft who are seniors in college who now might be first rounders because of their run. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, look at the two. You've gushed about both of them from Baylor. The two, yes, they're juniors, not seniors, but you got Davion Mitchell, the other D Mitch. That's
big age difference between these two guys, though.
What? Jared Butler is 21 and a half, and Davion Mitchell is 22 and a half. Nearly a year difference between them. And they're both juniors. Whereas I was going to say with Jared Butler, after this performance in the tournament, Dave, if you do not have him in the lottery, there's something wrong. He is a lottery. Like to me,
it's funny shown because everyone's saying Davion Mitchell's a lotto guy. Everyone's saying he's a top 10 pick now. And I'm like, for real though? Like,
there's a possibility, but like with the thing I love about Butler, no disrespect to Mitchell, is it's that defense. Like, to me, it feels like he can not only get a bucket, but it's like you really need a guy that can play defense. Like, he, to me, can do, like, let's say, even if you have, like, let's say a Ben Simmons type player where it's like, he's our point guard, we don't need a point guard. You can draft Butler and be like, okay, he's like our Matisse Thybulle, where it's like, defense. You need someone who can play good defense against a team.
Unlike Matisse.
Yeah. I'm not saying comp for comp.
And he can facilitate.
Yeah. So he's better than Matisse, so take him.
As a poor example.
You know what I mean, though? Like, even if you have a point guard, like, to me, the thing I gush over Butler is, yes, he's got all the offensive ability you just said, but he's such a good defensive player. And you're right. He's got the IQ to know how to use everything and work it to his will.
Yeah, I absolutely love watching him play. I think the backcourt together is very good. I'm just very suspect of Davion Mitchell's shooting. Okay. I think that the 1 year spike in 3-point shooting percentage with a low free throw percentage, again, all the fucking analytics nerds will be like, well, 1 year, not great. He's not a great...
send him to the shot doc, Dave.
You got to send him to the shot doc. I mean, he's not... I don't think he's a great... catch and shoot player either. I think he's got to look. Here's the thing: his athleticism means he has upside, but he's also going to be 23 by the time he plays his first game. So as a 23-year-old rookie,
that means the floor better be high. The floor better be high because we might not have the years to see you get to the potential.
I've seen comps everywhere. I mean, everywhere. They're like, oh, he's like Patrick Beverley, but with a slightly better offensive skill set. You know, maybe in the mold of a Marcus Smart, but then a little less, he is athletic. He is incredibly talented, but the shot concerns me. So I kind of like the Patrick Beverley, but like, I don't know if he obviously won't be as good, but also he's coming at 23. So like, he has to be able to contribute. That's why I think that like, he's to me seems more like the guy who's likely to go to like one of those playoff teams. Like, I just don't know that a team would want him over Jared Butler unless they think he has that it factor to break out a la Donovan Mitchell. You know, if he has that it factor where he could be something special, he can elevate his game because he is someone who a lot of people say like his box score isn't even close to what he contributes on the floor.
Yeah.
And I get that in some games, but I also see the turnovers. I also see the spotty free throw. I also see the shooting, and I see every reason to pause and hesitate because I think there are just better talents who are younger. Yeah. Would I rather take a shot on Davion Mitchell being, 23 by the time the season starts, or someone literally just go right across and say someone like Keon Johnson, who is 19? Like,
I mean, hell,
again, raw athlete,
Mhm.
great slasher. His defense is solid. It's not as good as Davion Mitchell's,
Mhm.
but he's also 4 years younger.
Yeah, and like the thing I also look at when you're talking about guys that are younger,
Yeah.
like, and yet again, not all of these guys are like the same play style, but it's like underneath him, I'm looking at the big board. Underneath him, Sharif Cooper, 19, almost 20 years old.
He's 6'1". It's a very hard, like, and that's 6'1" with shoes. He's like 5'11".
Yeah, he's short, but it's like you even got Trey Mann, who's a second round prospect in many people's minds. He's 20 years old. He's going to be 3 years younger than what Mitchell is. And like, I'm not one of those that believe like age is a end all be all. If you're old, you're not going to be good. But it's like, the thing is with older prospects is that floor better be high and solid.
There's so many guys in this draft who I would take over him because of the age thing. Like, but if you're a playoff team, that's the whole reason. I can see him going 100% in the 15 to 20 range, 100% in the 20 to 25 range. Like, there's no way he doesn't get taken first round, top 25.
So, like, if he's there at 23, should the Lakers grab him?
100%.
Like that, like all the other teams that I see point guard, like that mock drafts having point guards, like after 20, the Knicks, not really a playoff team though. So like really it's the Lakers, the Clippers, and then if the Suns at 23 or the Sixers at 27.
Yeah,
go with
all of those would be ideal.
Mm-hmm.
All ideal. Like that's the thing. I think he's someone who is ready to contribute because of his age and where he's at now. Will his shooting translate? That's what we're gonna have to see. That's the big question with Davion Mitchell. I think, like you said, I'm more in love with Butler. I like what he brings to the table. He's a smart player. He doesn't turn the ball over. Incredibly crafty. Knows when to make the right passes. That's the other thing. Like he is a big proponent of moving the ball, unselfish play. But he also can make shots.
Yeah.
He's not a poor shooter. He's been consistently better and better. So, like, I love the idea of Butler over the upside of Mitchell because of Mitchell's athleticism. I don't know. Maybe I'm a sucker for that. But
the thing I want to throw out, and yet again, this is not me advocating for this site. I do frequent it often, though. It's called the NBA Draft Room. And the reason why I frequent it is they always put comparisons. And I'm not saying they're right on the comparisons, but it's one of those things where either it's fun to look at to be like, how far off is this? Or like when I'm looking at comparison, get something into my mind so I can be like, well, no, not that, but okay, maybe this guy.
Yeah, what can I rationalize? Like, what makes sense here?
Who do you want to know first, Butler or Mitchell?
Give me Mitchell.
They have two for Mitchell. The lower one is Jarrett Jack, but with a smoother offensive game.
He wishes he could shoot as good as Jarrett Jack.
And then you want to know the first one, Dave?
And also, Jarrett Jack doesn't play defense half as good.
Yeah. Mitchell's first one, a player that Dave hates with a passion.
Draymond Green.
No.
I do hate Draymond Green.
He wears green, Dave. He wears green.
Kemba
Walker.
That's not a great sign there.
And Jared Butler has one comp. He is now a 76er. He was a Thunder. He was on the Cavs at some point and the Jazz at one point. He's been around on a lot of teams.
George Hill?
George Hill plus. He's got a plus, Dave. He's a little bit better than George Hill. That's what that means.
I think Jared Butler is better than George Hill.
Like, if he's a George Hill player, that is like the absolute, like, wow, he did not pan out like I thought he was, but he's still like contributing.
George Hill is always going to be good. That's the thing. Like, he can shoot the three, he can move the ball, he can play a little defense. I think Jared Butler plays better defense than George Hill. I guess outside of that, sure. Sure, I mean, fair. That one's not terrible in theory.
Yeah,
I can rationalize part of that being correct.
I saw
the Jarrett Jack one just seems offensive.
Yeah, I saw the Mitchell one. I was like, the Jarrett Jack, I didn't know you'd have a huge problem with. It's the Kemba Walker one. I'm like, oh, Dave's not gonna like this one.
Fucking hate Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker.
The man's got degenerative knee issues. Yeah. Like, who thinks that's gonna work out long term? No one.
Unless we're just like, ooh, older point guard who went to a national championship in college. Got to be Kemba Walker.
But is he the point guard, Ricky? Easy.
No, I would probably put that Butler, and then Mitchell's at the 2. Yet again,
Exactly.
Mitchell, how combo he will, like the Suggs thing, can he bounce between them?
And can Mitchell, because of his size, he's smaller, but I don't know his wingspan.
Yeah.
Like that'll actually matter a lot for him. If he measures in at 6'1", but has like a 6'5" wingspan, that'll be fine.
Yeah,
but if he's 6'1" with a 6'1" wingspan, he's fucked.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes top 10. I don't think he goes. Like, I think that would hurt his draft stock the most. If his measurables are bad, his athleticism is great, but
unofficially 6'2", because obviously it's not official until the combine. It's like shoes. Do you like with shoes or without shoes?
I like without shoes.
Why though? They play with shoes.
Because not all shoes are the same.
Okay. I always looked at that. Now it's like, but they wear shoes. So like,
right. But everybody wears different shoes.
Yeah, I guess. The other point guard, Dave, that made news today on the jump, Dave.
Yeah.
Dosunmu broke my heart. I knew it was coming, but he still broke my heart. Not only declared for the draft, Dave, but said he was hiring an agent, so there's no way he's coming back for a senior year. Did not expect him to, because if he did, he probably wasn't going to get drafted next year. The question I will ask you is the same question we always have to ask with Dosunmu. Where does he stand in the point guards? Because for me, Dave, there is a bias to it. I am not going to hide it. There is an Illinois orange and blue bias that I look at it and I think that he's better than, like, and here's the thing. I'm looking at potential. I like him better than Joel Ayayi. I like him better than Dacian Nix right now. I personally like him better than Cooper. Probably the only 3 guys that I would for sure take over him are Suggs, Cunningham, and then possibly now Jared Butler. Because A, Jared Butler, his defensive ability, and 2, we got to see what Jared Butler could do to a talent like Dosunmu. Completely take him out of the game. I know beginning of the year, end of the year, players mature and their styles get better, but it's like Jared Butler possibly, to me, Dosunmu should be at least a top 5 point guard in this class. And do you think there's anything he can do in this draft process to make sure he is a number 1 pick and not number 1, a first round pick and not a second round pick?
I think the biggest problem with Io is the fact that he's not a true point guard. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that he screams combo guard. But on top of that, the fact that his off-ball versatility is limited. Mm-hmm. He's someone who hasn't shown us he has great, he's someone who has not shown us that his off-ball skills are developed. I don't know if it's a fact that Illinois' offense was so heavily dependent on his gameplay that they just didn't let him showcase that. Mm-hmm. But it is one of the biggest concerns out there is that Io is a off-the-bench spark plug who can ball handle, run a second unit. And I think that's what's capping him. People want to say that, hey, he's not good enough to be a point guard on a starting unit because his turnover ratio, he doesn't have a great eye for facilitation. He's not a court general out there. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he can get buckets. Yeah. But he can't do it off ball. So if you need the ball in your hands, but you're not a superior scorer and facilitator, like where does that leave you? You're in that like Jordan Clarkson range.
Yeah, I mean,
and Jordan Clarkson, we're talking 6th man of the year. Like that's the upside for him. That is I think best case scenario is someone like Jordan Clarkson, but I think physically he's more impressive. I think Clarkson has a smoother game. I think that Io has built up muscle. I think he will continue to build on that frame. He's got a really solid frame to continue working with. So like if his defense gets better, absolutely. But people are concerned the fact that, hey, this guy not good enough to be a starter on my team, which will handicap him. Whereas you look at other guys, you can talk yourself into Dacian Nix being a first round talent because of his frame. You think, hey, Kyle Lowry can make that work. We can make that work. He is someone who we can work with on his facilitation, but like he was a top point guard prospect for a reason. We didn't get to barely scratch the surface in the G League.
Yeah.
I think that anyone who is still doubting Josh Giddey is a little ridiculous. He is legit point guard skills out there, and he's 6'8", so like that puts him in a different category anyway.
With me, you make great points, and for me as an Illinois fan, there's one thing I wish, Dave.
Yep.
I wish Andre Curbelo was a year older. I wish he would have came in not this year, but the year before, because like the thing that I think hinders Io is the Illinois teams that he was on, where the first 2 years it was him and Trent Frazier were the backcourt.
Yep.
And it's like, well, out of those two, Io's going to be the main ball handler. And then it's like this year you had Andre Curbelo, but at the beginning of the year and for most of the year, he's coming off the bench. And then later on in the tournament and stuff, that's where we saw the backcourt that would have been nice to have all year, but yet again, a freshman coming in, Curbelo was
stubborn.
What? Well, that too.
The coach was stubborn.
No, like I'm not talking about the stubbornness of the Loyola game, just the fact that like what we saw between Io and Curbelo at the end of the year. I wish we could have had that all year, but Curbelo needed to develop as a freshman to get to that point, and he was kind of like, okay, now I'm kind of like the pure point guard, and you could be the scorer next to me. I've always looked at Io, and the one comp that I've always had body-wise, play type-wise, will he reach this potential? I don't know. He's going to have to answer that question. But I've always seen I want to say lesser only because of the success part, a lesser Victor Oladipo. He's a combo guard who can score, has the similar body type, especially this year when he put on some muscle. The only question is, can he be as good as Victor Oladipo has been in the NBA? Or will he not live up to that?
Can I counter?
Go ahead. You can always counter.
Do you see Spencer Dinwiddie? I'm talking Spencer Dinwiddie where he was prior to his injury, but post the couple years struggling through the G League.
Yeah.
I see someone who on ball can attack the rim, someone who can work a defense, he can get around pick and rolls, but someone who off ball necessarily is a limited player. We watched the struggles of Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert together as a backcourt, just couldn't function. He wasn't able to look like a star or a stud at least because they couldn't figure out how to share the ball. The offensive system there did not let itself do that. And again, we gave a lot of credit to I can't remember the Nets' old head coach, point guard.
Atkinson.
Yeah, Kenny Atkinson. For his amazing, like, hey, this guy is going to get the most out of guards. Like, he has a fucking thing for it. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie was able to thrive with that system. But at the same time, it also showed that Spencer Dinwiddie off ball, not necessarily going to give you the same value. So you have to know what your system is and can he thrive in that system. I think that Io is very similar in that respects. I think they have similar attributes play style wise. I think Io has a better frame than Spence. I think he's addressing it much earlier in his life or in his basketball career than Spencer is. Spence had to work up to the jig, which gives him a great attitude and a work ethic and shit that you just don't get, out the gate. So like I mean it as a compliment, but at the same time, I do want to bring your expectations back to reality a little here. I think Victor Oladipo is someone who had an entirely different skill set.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason why Vic was top 5 pick, top 2 pick.
His raw athleticism was on a different.
And like when I say that, I know comment section's already typed, but when I say that, I'm not saying like he is Victor Oladipo. I'm saying I see similar skill sets.
Okay.
Obviously, Victor Oladipo is the better one, and how close to? Because to me, I feel like. And yet again, people say because of the age. He's not as old as... He's Jared Butler age-wise. He's not Davion Mitchell. He's Butler. They're about the same age. I think Butler's a couple months older.
Yeah, he's not someone who delayed their high school process to dominate kids younger than them, less physically developed than them, because he's not mentally fucking weak.
Yeah.
And his parents don't have problems. Like, that's one of the things that parents who do that to their kids... Like, I got a small rant. Parents who delay their fucking athletic children's schooling because, like, I want him to dominate the competition. Like, the fuck is wrong with you?
You're not helping them get better.
It's just fucking ridiculous. Like, we have college freshmen who are 20.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, we have 18-year-olds going to the NBA right now. Like, Pokuševski is younger than, I think, the top 5 picks in this draft or some shit. Like, it's hilarious. Like,
who is
gets me going. Gets me going, Ricky. I'm sorry.
The youngest person that is in mock drafts for the NBA draft, there are 3 18-year-olds right now that
Jaden
will
is
be in the
one.
draft. Jaden Springer,
Uh,
fucking how do you say his name?
Giddy.
Sengun, the center out of
Oh, he's very good.
Besiktas.
If you haven't watched this tape yet,
Mhm.
this dude's a
Yeah.
fucking beast in
And
the
then
post, man.
Kaminga. Those are the 3 18-year-olds in the first round right now with the Tankathon mock
Nice.
I'm looking at. But the one thing I did like with Io, to get it back to like what you said, is that's the thing where like when you were talking about Spencer Dinwiddie, it kind of sparked something in my mind of, is Io's role to a team kind of like what Dinwiddie's is, or like what Dennis Schroeder's is right now with the Lakers? Like
Fair
he's a little bit
question.
taller than Schroeder, but like a guard who can pass, but if he's going to assist, it'll probably be like between 4 to 6. But he's a scorer. He's the scoring guard next to your number one, to where like that's why with me with Io, I feel like the reason why I feel like he should be so strongly a number one pick is because
First round
I keep saying number one, I mean first rounder. The same teams we talked about with Jared Butler,
Yep.
I feel like they should also be like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Sixers, the Suns. They should also be looking at Io. Hell, they should also be looking at Trey Mann. Like all three of these guys should be, and yet again, I think Butler's going to be higher than this, so that'll help out Io and Trey Mann, more teams for them to possibly scoop up. But like those playoff teams should be looking at like an Io Dosunmu to be like, hey, we need some scoring off the bench when our big guys are on the bench getting rest. And he's someone that like I feel like there are things Io needs to work on, but it's not a like, oh well, he's 21, he can't learn how to do it.
No.
Like I feel like he can be coached to do it.
I think you can literally put him on an NBA roster tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
and tell him to attack, and he can get the job done.
Yeah.
Like people who want to say like he doesn't have the first step, he doesn't have this, he doesn't have that. No, he can get his at the NBA level. I'm 100% believing in that. But I do think people are discounting, 3 years playing. He has had a different roster, or I should say a situation as far as the team priority each year. This year, he had someone coming in who was a highly recruited player, did not live up to expectations. We got to see Curbelo actually thrive as the year went on, become a fan favorite.
By the way, you talking about Adam Miller there, the guy that didn't live up?
I'm
the guy who's Dave, the guy who's a coward. He's a coward, Adam Miller, looking at you. Coward, transferring from Illinois. We're handing you the keys. He entered the transfer portal, Dave. He is no longer an Illini. He is a coward. I love Adam Miller, but he's a coward. He's a coward.
I didn't know.
Io leaves. We're handing you the keys to the kingdom. Kofi's probably going to be back. Curbelo's getting better. That's why Papa Curbelo is my favorite player, because he's not a coward. He is a strong mental player. He's going to be... Dave, I am already speaking to existence, by the way, Andre Curbelo to the Bulls. Because I think he's the perfect point guard that we need. I just hope he has a better season next year to build off of this. But yeah, my mini rant is over. Pissed about Adam Miller entering the transfer portal after we're giving him the keys to the kingdom. Last thing, Dave, that I want to hit before I wrap up the show. March Madness as a whole, it's over. We get to now talk about all the performances. Are there any guys this March that you feel really help their draft stock and we will really be looking at the rest of this draft season?
So
where do you want to start,
I did not write down their names. Why did not write down their names, Ricky? I'm awful at names.
Yeah, I'll help you out. I'll feed you,
okay,
baby bird.
Start off easy. Oregon Ducks. Chris Duarte.
Yeah,
I absolutely think is a first round talent. Older player, again, don't care. Yeah. He has talent. Like it's like fast PP. Like he is someone who has talent.
Also an Oregon Duck.
Also has talent, is good at the game. I believe what he's doing out there. I think that honestly, he's probably going to get picked either like 20 through 40. Like he's in that middle. He could go first round, but I could see him slipping because of his age. But does he know what he's doing? Absolutely. Like he's someone who can contribute off the bench for a team like tomorrow. So I think he's someone who I really liked his contributions in the tournament. UCLA. Can we just say
Juzang? Johnny Juzang, baby.
Is he
I
going?
love Johnny Juzang. I don't know if he's going, but I hope he does. I hope he gets drafted.
The buzz around him is insane, and I don't know what's fans. I don't know what's like prospect. I have to go back and literally rewatch an entire season of him playing now because I've only seen tournament games, but they've been electric, Ricky.
I absolutely
him in the tournament. Rounder? Is he a first rounder?
I think he's a second rounder. Like right now, can he play? Yep. Can he play himself? Because yet again, you enter the draft process because he was a, let's see, NBA drafter. Let's see the comparison. He was a sophomore, so still
he was a transfer.
Guy.
He transferred out of Kentucky.
You're right. He was a transfer. So what they have right now is similar to Dylan Brooks, but more advanced at this.
Dylan Brooks?
Dylan Brooks. But more advanced at this point in his career.
Okay. I mean, that's not a bad comp.
And that's the thing too. Like Johnny Juzang, I almost have the thought of because of how close they got to the championship, and he's only a sophomore. I could see him doing the test the waters thing. Test the waters. If I don't get a promise, boom, I'm coming back to UCLA. Let's run it back, Cronin. Let's run it back, trying to win a championship, higher seed and a championship. But they were just the Cinderella story this year.
I mean, you want to talk Cinderellas. What about Oral Roberts? Having O'Banner.
Oh, you went the other way. See, I like O'Banner too, but fucking Max Abmas. I hope I'm saying that right. Abmas, like the point guard. You don't like him, Dave?
I like O'Banner so much more.
I like both of them. That's the thing.
O'Banner's 6'8", good size. He's not a blow-by on defense, and he's got a fantastic shot from all three fucking levels. I love him.
Yeah.
I got to watch the conference tourney games. Then I got to watch his actual NCAA. Holy shit. Been sleeping. Oral Roberts.
Give him a couple wet boys while you've been sleeping, Dave.
Ohio State, Florida, Arkansas, and the guy's putting up phenomenal numbers. He's able to be active. Now, is he a limited player as far as what he can do for you? Sure. But he's a stretch. I don't want to say a 4 because he's only 6'8". It's is he a...
Could you say he's a wing? Could you say he's like a hybrid wing?
He's a wing.
Okay.
He's a wing who is a very good rebounder. He is active on the boards.
Yeah.
You know what I get, Ricky?
What?
Defense. Okay.
David.
It's like a scuffed Aaron Gordon.
Okay.
Not as athletic.
A scuffed Aaron.
He's not as good of a passer.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a better comp out there.
I love the fight in O'Banner too.
Trevor Ariza. He is good offensively. He's good defensively. He's not someone who's going to carry your team on either side.
He can
rebound
guy.
well. Yeah, I think mid-career, fourth option, fifth option, Trevor Ariza.
Yeah.
Not someone you count on, but someone who will help your team and will help them out big.
I like it because with me too, I like O'Banner, but the thing with Max Abmas, I will say 6'1". 6'1". Is that with shoes? Without shoes? Is he gonna get taller, shorter? Do we have a Sharif Cooper syndrome here?
I think so. I would love to see them next to each other.
The thing I love about him though in the tournament though is dude's a bucket. Dude's got NBA. If dude can get the 3-point shot going, he's worth a second round flyer. He is worth a second round flyer. I don't care that he missed that shot where the game they lost against Arkansas. Dude can shoot the 3 ball, and it's not like a Davion Mitchell thing, Dave. He can shoot free throws and can shoot the 3. So there's 4
he
there.
Didn't jump his 3-point percentage by 18% in 1 year mysteriously, and we're just gonna go 60 from the line. You see this shit? Please tell me you see this shit.
The other guys I'm thinking of is one. I gotta mention it for Jake Highland from VCU. Didn't get to see him play in the tournament.
On the board.
And it's just it's a shame we didn't get to see him play. But the guy I wanted to mention, probably to me, one of the biggest, oh my God, I am back in the draft process, Quentin Grimes. Grimy, baby. The way Houston was able to run, Quentin Grimes used to be if you go back into, I think it was our Zion draft, Dave, he was a way too early top 10 pick and then fell off the board completely with Kansas. And now is resurrecting himself with Houston.
He was part of a 2-man backcourt with someone at Kansas who we literally is on the Bulls right now.
Yeah. Oh,
G-League.
Dotson?
Dotson.
Yeah, Dotson.
It was Dotson and Grimes. 2-man backcourt, both underachieved rookie year. Dotson came out last year, and then Grimes transferred over smartly because it wasn't set up for both of them to work together. It clearly was not going to happen.
Whoever's better is going to stay.
I think he's a second round pick. I don't think that he should come out, to be honest. I think he should stay one more year. I think he has gotten better. I think so much of his game has gotten better. I don't know that he will get the same development in the G League. That's why I'm concerned. I think he's someone who, if he did get drafted, it would be late and he would have to work through the G League. I think he gets better attention right now being the star of a college team and getting the national TV time and trying to get himself back up to the top of the second round.
A Houston team that could run it back. They could run it back next year if they get everyone to come back.
Yeah, he has the skill set. You want to know someone who could run it back but could come out?
Go.
Miles McBride.
From
one of the big reasons I like West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia. Take me home.
West Virginia is a team that was dangerous. McBride, mostly big contributor on that part. Like, he's someone who's exciting. Again, undersized point guard. We love undersized point guards. We fucking gush about them. He's 6'2" in air quotes here. Like, he's someone who has explosive ability to go at the net. And as the season went on, his 3-point shot started to fucking settle into a nice range. So I like him as a prospect. I think that he's done a great job to help himself out. Now, do I think that, I'm having a hard time placing him in the draft.
Yeah.
I think he's a second round talent. I just don't know if he's going to get a guarantee.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm thinking, okay, if he doesn't come out, West Virginia should be a favorite for next year's national championship. Yeah. That number, what did you say, 2,600?
Yeah, I think
plus
so.
2,600?
Yeah.
Might put some money down.
Dave, by the way, at the beginning of the tournament, I'll ask you this in retrospect before I give you the odds.
Sure.
If you were going to put money down on Baylor because you like them to win it all, what was the most money you would have been comfortable putting down on them?
Oh, maybe like $100.
So if you would have put that $100 on Baylor, Dave, you would have gotten $1,100.
Oh, I don't like to hear that at all.
Oh, I don't like to hear it at all either, because I was like, man, if I just put my entire bank account on it, think about how much money I could get. However, in my head, it would have been like, I'm going to lose that money. I'm not going to put it on
I would
Baylor.
not, like, maybe, 100 seems like the most I put down, like maybe 1,000. Like, that would be the most. I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, this guy on Twitter today, so I'll put 1,000 on him to win on FanDuel, and then also won his bracket tournament that he was in and got like an additional like $1,000 some dollars. Just because Baylor won it all. For
Moses Moody, did he go up or down for you? I have to ask, up or down in the tournament, because he had some struggles.
Stayed the same. Like, for me, the thing with Moses Moody is, don't look at the box score. Don't look at the box score. Just look at him play. Like,
eye test. He's the ultimate eye test player, and you're like, that kid's got it.
He is a guy where you're looking at it, he's like, man, he's got to have like 8 rebounds with the way he's hustling out there. And then you look, it's like, oh, only 4. Or you're like, man, he's not scoring a lot of points, but he's affecting the game. You look at the box score and you go, man, if I just looked at this, he didn't affect anything on this box score.
The man's 2 of 10 from the field.
Yeah. But like, you watch him play and you're like, man, he's hustling around. And like, is he what we all said about Robert Williams? Not saying they're going to be the same player, but like, the thing with Robert Williams, the Time Lord, was always, man, he's a grinder with the Aggies. Don't look at what he's doing. He's a grinder, grabbing loose rebounds. Like, is that Moses Moody, where it's just basically look at his grinding ability, and that's what we're looking at, what we see with the eye?
Better comp out there. I think
I'm not saying
Robert
comp.
Williams,
I'm just saying what we're saying about it.
Robert Williams was mental mistakes held him back. Basically, that's his entire thing is his basketball IQ.
Yeah.
I think Moses Moody gets it.
Yeah,
I think he's a smart player.
But
I do agree. It's an effort, like A+ effort there.
Yeah, the whole like grinder, doesn't really matter if he's not scoring. Like, that's
my concern is
same things.
Don't be Culver.
Don't be Culver.
Don't be Culver. Like, that's his that's his worst case scenario. Is he's someone whose shot fails him at the NBA level, and then he hits a struggle wall. Yeah. Someone else whose shot failed him in perhaps the biggest moment of his life, Franz Wagner. Yeah. That air ball cost him how many slots in the draft?
Oh, I was happy with it, though. I wanted Michigan to lose so badly. Let's see. Where do you think Tankathon has him drafted?
They probably have him at like 10. People are talking about him being a 3-and-D wing.
To the Kings at 10.
Yeah. They're talking about him
Yeah.
being a 3-and-D wing. He's a floor raiser for your team. Good defensive player. Can hit shots.
Yeah.
Can create a little bit for others. They're going with the lazy comp, I'm sure, of like a Joe Ingles. Like,
I'll look up NBA draft room, see what they got for Vog.
please
Daddy.
tell me it's Joe Ingles. That would be so good.
NBA.
So fucking lazy in actuality. Like, people, I've heard Lamar Odom. I don't think he has what it takes to be Lamar Odom. No cocaine jokes here, please.
Not Joe Ingles, Dave. They got two.
Yeah.
One of which I don't even think ever was an NBA player. Tyler Honeycutt.
I remember Honeycutt.
And then Mike
That
Dunleavy Jr.
name doesn't go away.
And then Mike Dunleavy Jr.
Dunleavy Jr.
Yeah.
Fucking what?
10th overall pick, Dave.
Dunleavy can't dribble the ball though. Like that's I'm sorry. Dunleavy can dribble. Dunleavy couldn't facilitate the level that Franz can.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think the Dunleavy is not a bad comp. Dunleavy could get out there, but again, these are just lazy. Like that's a lazy white guy comp. I hate to say it, but like that
He's
is what
a white
it is.
player. This is what if someone went even bolder, comped him to his brother, Mo and Franz.
They play nothing alike.
I know.
I think he's someone who hurt his draft stock in this tournament.
Yeah.
I think if anybody, if any GMs watch just tournament games, they're like, no, not taking him top 10.
Like, I am shocked, by the way, that Book Night Says Goodnight is dropping in the draft. Like, yeah, didn't play a ton of tournament games. Yeah, they got bombed. I think they were one and done or lost in the first. But like, he's a guy where it's like, did anything change? Did I miss something on James Book Night to where he should be dropping like outside the top 15?
I literally saw nothing unexpected out of him. I don't know what people are like harping on at this point.
Yeah.
No, literally, he's the same player he was all season.
Because I've got two more names that I was really excited for. One, I was excited for all season. I'm going to be a hipster. Go with yours first.
Cam Thomas.
I was going to bring up Cam Thomas. That's one of mine.
LSU as a whole. Cam Thomas, fucking flamethrower.
Oh, him in that game against, who was it? It wasn't Ohio.
Michigan and St.
No, Bonnies. The Bonnies. Oh, man, the game against the Bonnies. He was just on, like I was watching it going.
Bucket.
I hated it because I had the Bonnies in the Elite Eight, but it was just one of those things where I'm like,
you picked against LSU after I've sat here on at least 5 occasions gushing about these kids. They've got 3 guys who have NBA talent.
That 8-9 game was razor thin. I wanted both. Like, that was a game where I was like, can we just switch? Like, can we put Mizzou down here and LSU against Oklahoma so that I can pick both the Bonnies and LSU to go on? I thought the Bonnies had fire behind them. Inspired basketball, as Brandon would say. I didn't think Michigan would make it as far as they did, I'll be honest, but good thing they didn't make the Final Four. But yeah, Cam Thomas was one of the two I was going to mention. He was on fire. He's a first rounder for sure, right?
Oh, absolutely. He's can't miss first round talent.
Yeah.
He's got a good body. He's got some of the best
lock?
shot grading for himself. Like, I 100% believe in him. And I think that the 2 other guys in that team I talked about, like Javonte Smart's up there. And I think that Trendon Wofford, both guys could be looked at as second round picks. I think both guys have NBA level talent. I don't know if they are coming out, but I do know that both have talent in my mind to play at the NBA level. 100% in my mind.
The other guy that I'll mention, last guy I'll mention, because one of mine was Cam Thomas. Nice. And this is the hipster pick, Dave. I've been on this guy since about beginning conference season. I've been watching him all the way since the beginning of February, Dave. Naminas Queta.
Wait, who was that?
Naminas Queta from Utah State. Dude can block the ball out of the gym. You like Zion blocking balls? You have not seen Queta. Keep on. I'm doing the Chicago thing, Dave, putting an S on it. Oh, I can't wait to see him play at the NBA level. I want to see what he can develop wise defensively in the NBA. Yeah. Because dude's got length.
I love the pick. I have one that was a 1-game wonder.
Yeah.
Jabari Walker out of Colorado was someone who I gushed about for 1 game. He proceeded to miss every shot in the following tournament game. He is someone who needs to go back to college. I think he will have an excellent year next year. His shooting splits are great. At Colorado, I seriously think this kid's out of Inglewood, so obviously California, like He is talented.
Yeah.
He's 6'8". He's a wing. He will be very, very interesting to watch next year. But again, I think this year was just scratching the surface. And that first game was a breakout game followed by crushing Florida State wing defense like he's never seen before.
I will take that and raise you one more. That is the same style that you said. I don't think he comes out this year. Jay Billis going into the tournament said he was March Madness LaMelo Ball. He was the LaMelo Ball of March Madness. I saw that. I heard that, and I was like, I get what you're trying to say, Jay Billis. I respect you. I like you. Don't see it. Jason Preston, Ohio, the point guard. And I'm not saying he's LaMelo Ball, Dave. But the thing I do say is he didn't have it was really one of his teammates had a better showing in the win over Virginia. But this kid is something special. And I feel like if he has one more year of college, yet again, he'll be a junior and he's a junior and he's 21 right now. So he might fall into the Davion Mitchell conversation for next year because he'll be like 22 going on 23. But if he can get better and show that he has a solid floor, he might be a look at the top of the second, the end of the first. That's probably where I have him capped because he ain't going to go higher than that. Unless like Ohio wins the national championship and he has a Davion Mitchell like rise.
Yeah.
Dave's like, I don't bank on that.
I have no nice way of just saying no. No.
Dave's like, are you saying no like he's not even going to be a draft prospect next year?
I think it would be a stretch. Okay. I think it could be a second rounder. Let's put it that way. Anyone could be a second rounder.
I mean, second rounders are just flyers, right?
They are.
Where it's like, we like you, we can put you in the G League.
In the last couple of years, I swear to God, we have never seen more talent hit the NBA.
Yeah.
Like the draft, as much as people want to crap on second rounders, we've never had players this good hit the second round of the NBA draft. And that's why I think that like people are going to stop gambling on second rounders and treating them like nothing. Like the way that Oklahoma City is just bankrolled second rounders is insane. And the talent that you can see them on the court, they're literally playing a roster full of fucking nobodies and competing at the NBA level.
Shea and Dort are injured.
Right,
they may be injured, but injured. Just keep them out.
The draft is no longer top or bust. It is literally you can find talent that can compete at the NBA level everywhere in the draft. You just have to work on developing them. You have to give them the time to flourish. You can't just say, well, we picked him at 44, so he's never going to see an NBA roster. No. That guy at 44 can fucking play. I think the disrespect to second rounders has to stop. I think that players, and even the undrafteds who go, hey, the Orlando Magic have decided to pick you at, pick 52. Like, yeah, no, don't draft me. Like, I want to go undrafted. I will work out with teams, but no, thank you. That has happened more times in the last couple of years. So, again, it's just the idea of, hey, let's be aware that we've never had more talent coming in the NBA than right now. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people have forgotten. Now, Ricky, I have perhaps the biggest name in college basketball for you.
Can I ask one question before you give that? Because in my head, what's the last pick of the lottery? I'm blanking on it. What number pick is that?
14.
14? Okay.
Well, is it 14 still because of the fucking playing games?
It's still like the lottery. The reason why I asked that is I was going over OKC's picks. Right now they have 2 firsts. Theirs in Miami's, 3 seconds. Theirs Denver's, Minnesota's. However, if Houston falls out of the top 4 for some reason, I don't know, rigged draft lottery, and Golden State makes the playoffs, therefore they are outside the top 20. That's why I asked where it is, because if let's say Golden State plays up to where they're the 21st pick in the draft, then you could be looking at OKC having 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks.
Yeah.
Depending
on
they
will test the waters with all of those.
Yeah. But go ahead.
And they will trade up if they have to.
Okay. Go ahead with the name you were going to say. You said you had one.
Luka Garza.
I don't know what to feel about Luka Garza.
Where's he at?
I don't know what to feel. I think he's
Is he coming back?
Pick.
Is he going to dominate college basketball again?
No. The way I've heard him and his dad talk following that loss, he ain't coming back.
Okay.
He ain't coming back. I get stupid for, yet again, I'm not going to throw out the stupid word, but I feel like he should do what most people are doing. We're not going to hire an agent right away. I have the extra year of eligibility because of COVID. I can come back if I want to. But, like, if he gets a second round, I think he will get a second round guarantee. The only question is, I don't know what to expect out of him at the NBA level because Luka Garza, and you could call this a lazy take because it kind of sounds like it. To me, he sounds like the stereotypical, really good Wooden Award candidate college player, not going to be an NBA player.
Probably not.
Like, that's just... But I would love to see him in the NBA, even though I hated him at Iowa.
Also, shout out Terrence Shannon.
Shout out.
Went out well. Texas Tech kid.
He's a first rounder, right?
He's a guy who's floated around from the late teens to mid-second round.
That's a wide range.
It's super wide because again, it's the non-starter. Like people have a fucking whatever mental block.
I don't know. Patrick Williams was a non-starter, and look what he's doing.
Oh my God.
I mean, yet again, not everyone could be like Patrick Williams, but
Terrence Shannon's kind of like a Swiss Army knife out there, though. Like he can do a little bit of everything for you. So I'm excited to see him. He had his best game in to cap off his season. Unfortunately, in the loss, but is what it is. So
let's be honest, though. Matt McClung hurt that Red Raider team.
Matt McClung shut them out of the fucking game.
He was either like fire hot or ice cold.
You were like, I was in Discord with you when you're like, put McClung back in the game. He is killing their team. Like he was a minus 14 or something with him on the court in 5 minutes.
Because I needed the other team to cover it. I'm like, put McClung back in the game. I need him.
McClung ain't going to the NBA. Can we just fucking quash that right now?
Dude, he was the kid with Georgetown that everyone loved after his freshman year?
He can dunk.
Yeah.
He can dunk real good. Have fun in China.
Is he going to be the Jimmer for debt?
Yes.
Okay.
Not even going to answer the rest of that. Yes. He's going to skip the NBA draft and go straight to China. Or the EuroLeagues, but probably China. Maybe the NBL, maybe China. Probably China.
Dude, could go here, back to China. Then back to China. Could go to Lithuania, but then come back to China. Oh, man, Dave, what a show. What a show. Usually the draft ones go a little bit longer,
but I fucking loved it today. Outside of, I feel like you wrote 5 topics. I was like, those are all great. And then I just started talking and wouldn't shut up.
Oh, we hit them all. We hit everything. We hit Iowa. We hit the Baylor, Gonzaga. With this last one, I knew, I looked, I was like, 10 minutes to the hour. Yeah, this is definitely not going to be a 10-minute topic with all the prospects that popped off. But that's going to do it for us today. Make sure to obviously let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, remember, join the Discord, MVP Discord, greatest community in the universe. Link down below, or ! Discord into Twitch gets you that link. Also, make sure if you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids, or you can throw us a sub on Twitch where we are live every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. Also on YouTube at MVP Sports. You can catch Monday's show. It's already up there. Jake and I talked about overreactions to MLB opening weekend, Dave. Are the Athletics garbage? Are the Yankees done? Is
Shohei Ohtani Babe Ruth?
Shohei Ohtani Babe Ruth. Should he win the Cy Young and the MVP? I
literally heard that argument on air on ESPN, and I could not fucking believe myself.
Dude, he's Babe Ruth. Just book it. He also, I will say, as they were going to commercial break, there was a shot of Ohtani like this, looking at a guy, head turned, wink, and a thumbs up. I'm like, that needs to be a meme. That needs to be a GIF that someone puts for good job, and you're cool with the little wink, because it was just fucking awesome.
And I have to air this because Ricky, we talked about it.
Go ahead.
I should have bought the jersey. We were in LA. We went to a fucking game.
Yep. The whole thing. I was like, damn, just buy it. When's the next time you're gonna be here? And then COVID happened.
Should have bought the jersey.
Dave, we will go back. We got to go back to Vegas for Summer League. Then we obviously got to hit California. This time, actually hitting California, not just going for a convention. Yes, actually hitting California and leaving more than the little convention area bubble that we were in. But tomorrow's schedule, Dave will be back. I will be back doing hopefully I don't fall asleep this time. And you guys don't go 15 minutes over. Dude, it was one of those things. I'm listening. I was like this, and I was just like, and then I just went. I don't even remember when I knew last thing
literally the last 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah, the last thing I remember is switching the card to the Celtics.
Yep.
And then I just opened my eyes and I heard like, "Hello, is he there?" Voice in my head, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
That was like
I know what
45 minutes later.
I do.
The show had ended a half an hour ago.
Yeah. But Dave and Soapy will be talking NBA tomorrow, so that should be a great time. Thank you guys for doing everything that you do each and every day, and as always, have a good day, everybody.
WPN. Ultra delay.